And without further ado, it's my great honor to introduce three rock star leaders who are deeply passionate about women's health to kick off our program today and discuss how women's health is changing the world. Brittany runs FemTechFocus and Marija runs Women of Wearables. If you are a founder or an investor, you are following these two very closely. And Zsia runs the women's health practice at Withum. Zsia, thank you for being a sponsor for many years and a great leader in this space. Will you please introduce yourself and the panel?
So excited to be here. Thank you for that, Susan. My name is Zsia Rosmarin. I'm a partner at Withum. At Withum, we focus on audit, tax, and advisory for all of you women startups and have any type of financial questions or tax planning. We are here to help you. We work very closely with Marija and Brittany, have known you guys for about 2 years now, and following you on this journey has been incredible for us. So couldn't be happier to ask you guys some questions. And with that, I turn over to Brittany for a quick intro.
Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Brittany Barreto, geneticist by training, serial entrepreneur, venture capitalist. You know me as the host of the FemTechFocus podcast. You know me as the co-founder of Coyote Ventures. And we're also now launching a new company called Fem Health Insights. So give us a follow, give me a follow on LinkedIn. I'll drop my LinkedIn here and you can learn more about our new FemTech version of PitchBook software that we're launching in the next few weeks.
Excellent. And Marija, maybe you could give a quick background about yourself.
Of course. Hi, everyone. I'm really glad to be here tonight. It's 6 p.m. in London, so it's technically tonight in the UK. Thank you, Susan and the team, for inviting me. For those of you maybe who don't know me, I'm Marija Butkovic. I'm founder and CEO of Women of Wearables. I also write for Forbes. So please do get in touch if you have an interesting story to share. I'm also a venture partner at Simpson Ventures, a VC fund here in London, and a women's health advisor and mentor. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this event, to hearing these exciting pitches. And yeah, I can't wait to meet you all.
Yeah, so I mean, just to have a conversation today, ladies, you know, there's a relatively small amount of funding going on with healthcare, even though we know that women are the primary healthcare, decision makers for themselves, for their families. In recent years, obviously through the pandemic, more women are bringing attention to this issue, especially even on a global scale, as we see, Marija, you're overseas as well. So maybe both of you can just talk about what you've seen in the landscape of women, how healthcare has changed over the years, and what you've seen and what you kind of expect for the future.
All right,
Brittany, do you want to start?
Sorry,
Marija, you go first.
I can start. Well, for me, what I think one of the reasons why we don't see even more funding in this space is I wish we had more exits. I think once we get more exits, we'll see more funding going to this space, right? Investors are a bit cautious, and that comes with the territory. Femtech is a very new industry. All the data out there shows that it's definitely not a niche, but it takes some time to convince the investors for that, right? And the second thing is something that I'm very optimistic about is I see more funding, even in a very low level, like pre-seed and seed stage, going to the areas of women's health that haven't been really talked about, that haven't been funded. From gynecological cancers to endometriosis, PCOS, to mental health for women. We have now gone beyond just, fertility, pregnancy, and these very mainstream topics. And menopause as well, I would say, is finally getting a bit more visibility. So I'm optimistic, but it takes time. It's still relatively new.
And Brittany, what's your thoughts there?
Yeah, what we see in terms of why femtech is happening now, because women have always needed medicine. So why is this the rise now? We see, one, that the rise of women in STEM actually corresponds to the number of solutions being created. So as women get into science and medicine and engineering, they're saying, why did I have to wait 10 years for diagnosis for endometriosis? Well, heck, you know what? I'm a bioengineer. I'm going to make a diagnostic, right? So we see women now with the skill sets to make these deeper tech solutions. Also, women are statistically more likely than men to create something for women or for both genders, whereas men historically create things for men. And that's no hate on men. That's just literally data and science. And so as women are starting to create solutions, proportionately, they're making women's health solutions or solutions for women. Another thing we see is women starting businesses. The cultural shift of our gender expectations is no longer women in the house, but women in business. And so we're seeing women in finance, and you're seeing these angels that are starting to come up. Like Susan is a great example of this, of an awesome angel investor who sees great solutions in women's health. The pandemic showed us disparities in healthcare. We're now all finally aware we don't get the same healthcare. And the last two things I'll say is the taboo is decreasing. Thank you, Gen Z, for making us question sex and gender and everything in between. And so I think that we're starting to have these conversations and saying, too bad, boomers, if you don't like it, you can exit stage right. Like, we're going to have this conversation. And then last but not least is women are now 50% of the workforce. You know, the powers that be in the world, they want the most money possible. And so even if we can't convince people to invest or work in women's health because it's the right thing to do, at the end of the day, it's affecting people's bottom line when half of their workforce doesn't feel well.
Yeah, I remember when we met last summer, you were telling us about heart attack medication and so forth, and it's really for men. And when you think about it, a man's body is obviously different from a woman's, and you bring so much education to this, field, which is so incredible. And I know, unfortunately, we don't have a ton of time today with this packed agenda. So my question to you is, we've got a lot of female founders out here listening. What is your best advice to them right now? Their passion, bringing education, trying to raise funds. Maybe they're worried that they can't get their messaging out. What advice do you have for them?
I would say equip yourself with data. Data is most valuable currency. I would say, understand your problem, understand your industry. If you're equipped with data, it shouldn't really matter what's your gender. You'll be the most knowledgeable person in the room. Secondly, don't be afraid to ask questions and ask for help. There's a lot of us out there who can offer feedback, be a sounding board for you, connect with communities, think outside the box. Visibility shouldn't and won't come only through amazing PR and top tier media publications. There's a lot of incredible communities like Brittany's, like mine as well. So we can help with that. And last but not least, what I always say to people, just, grind, trust in yourself, and just persevere. It will happen. Overnight success happens after 10 years. It will happen.
That's great advice.
Hustle. I love that. Tenacity, grit, hustle. Get savvy, y'all. There's a lot of us out there now. And so how are you going to stand out? A suggestion in retrospect is, if you saw that the organizers of this was HITLAB, as a founder in my previous lives, I would reach out to these organizers and say, hey, looks like this event's huge. Could you use some help? I promise you they do, right? And so when you ask, like, strategically, you start to think the hustle life, you're like, well, heck, also, by the way, all of these organizers are investors and they know all the judges who are investors. Maybe if I get close to them, show them I'm a good person, because a lot of people, we invest in humans, right? And so if you just send your pitch deck out, the chances of getting investment are pretty low. You put your heart out there, your character, yourself, right? And you engage with people in a different level that isn't just, hey, can you invest in this? But rather, how can I help you? Build the relationship and then say, hey, I have a deal. I have raised more funding helping passing out papers in an MBA class than I ever did at any kind of pitch competition. So that's my 2 cents. Get strategic, get savvy, because the whole VC pipeline, maybe that's not for everybody. I think that's kind of a thing we're all starting to realize, is that we've been sold this dream that there's a specific way to do it. And there's not. That's what entrepreneurship's about. It's what innovation is about. It's about not hitting the well-traveled path sometimes, right? So get creative. Reach out to Marija and I, join our communities. We have lots of resources for you.
And it's such great advice, because so many founders have a passion that does not come through in an email, right? So sending your pitch deck out and saying, I don't understand, why don't they see what I see? Well, they can't see, they need to hear it from you, how passionate about you are about it. right? Just listening to both of you, that would come out across very differently than if you just wrote that down on paper. So one of the other things that we found just working with so many women is that women tend to be very cautious and they need to check 10 boxes before they feel the confidence sometimes to go out there and do it, where men will check 2 boxes and sell it. And I don't want to say fake it till you make it, but they are really good at that. So believe in yourself and don't hold yourself back because you may not check every last single box, right? Just get out there. I agree. Know your data, know why, know how much investment you need. What are you going to do with that money is really important, and knowing your valuation. And besides your personal value, but knowing your valuation. Investors want to understand what you are going to do with their money. I know it's 1:15 on the nose. So Susan, I'm not sure if we have any time for more questions, or we should just keep it right on time.
I'm so grateful. I could listen to you three literally all day, as you know. So thank you so much, and really appreciate you kicking it off for all of us.
Yeah,
I think
I
Marija,
wish we had more time too. We have to do this again.
we will do it again. I think one of the themes of today is every panel could be 3 hours. So
yeah,
you'll
and
see
so
Zsia and
fun.
Marija later. I know Brittany isn't able to stay to the networking, but please connect with them, and hopefully we'll have a great networking later in the program.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. Thank you, Brittany and Marija.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.